Squad. Is it worth a buy? Well, let's just have a read. Squad is a 50 versus 50 multiplayer first-person shooter that aims to capture combat realism through communication and team play. Major features include vehicle-based combat, arms gameplay, large-scale environments, base building, and integrated personal voice-over IP for proximity talking and radio.
Guys, a quick disclaimer, the footage you're going to watch in this video is not going to be just a montage of the action sequences of playing this game. That wouldn't do the game justice. What I'm going to show you instead is more of what you're going to be doing if you buy into this game. I don't want to mislead anybody, so I'm going to show you footage that's more real to this game rather than just showing you loads of high octane stuff which no doubt other reviewers will spend showing you. This is the real deal, what you're going to see here. This is what you're going to get if you buy this game. So what is Squad then? Well, it's kind of like the opposite of Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a totally dumbed down arcade war game. This is a totally realistic war game. It's the other end of the spectrum, really. It focuses around squads, which is why it's called Squad. When you join a game, you join a squad. You don't have to join a squad, but it's highly recommended that you do, because if you do join a squad, you get to work as a team, and this game is all about teamwork. There's no room in this game whatsoever for the lone wolf and going off to do my thing. If you do that, you will die very quickly and get nowhere and contribute virtually nothing at all to the team, because the whole game revolves around capturing areas on a map and defending areas on a map, and the only way you're going to take them areas is with a group, or even more than one group, but maybe even a couple of squads. You have to work together, and to do that you're going to need a microphone. This game has amazing built-in voice over IP. Basically, you can talk directly to your group, you can talk directly to the other groups, you can talk directly to everybody. There is a proximity voice as well, so you can just talk to people who can hear you in your general area. So you coordinate. Now, the way you do this is when a group is formed, whoever forms the group becomes the squad leader. They are then responsible for what your group does. They can put down forward operations bases, which are basically miniature camps where you can build sandbags, you can build ammunition boxes and spawn points. And it's essential that you get one of these FOBs down in a good place if you want to win the battles. Another thing that you do when you join a squad is you choose your role within that squad. There are medics who can heal people, obviously. You have snipers, only one really, which is the different classes are limited, which is a big shame. I mean, one sniper is not enough for a 9-man squad. It might be in real life, but in this game it just isn't. We have always needed more snipers. There's a grenadier which has the grenade attachment, the grenade launcher attachment to your machine gun. There is a bit heavier machine gun which is for suppressing fire, and various other things. The standard guy who runs around with the AK-47 or American equivalent, and you choose the role that you want to be, but the specialist roles are very, very limited, and it's first come, first served. It all sounds good. It does sound good. It sounds brilliant, actually, but there is a lot of problems with this game. First problem is it doesn't run very well. It's not very well optimized. It is early access and it is alpha, and people are having a lot of problems. I'm having to turn my graphics all the way down to medium. You can adjust a lot on the graphics, so there's plenty to do in the options. There's also a complete rebind system for all of your keys, which is another great thing. There are some big gameplay problems. First and foremost, there's no vehicles in this. They're going to be arriving as well at some point, but they're not in at the moment. And these maps are huge. They're the size of bloody Nebraska, these maps. They're huge things. So you spend a lot of your time running, and you can only run a certain amount of time, and then your guy gets tired and you have to rest until the stamina bar goes back down again. So it's a bit of a running simulator as well. So what are the squads like? Because when you start a new game, you can actually choose to create a squad, and then other people join your squad and you become the squad leader. The amount of squad leaders that are just bad-mannered, barking orders as if they're some kind of sergeant major in real life is quite astounding. I mean, I'm actually shocked. I told one to just f*** off the other night because there was a medic on our team who, right, the medic wasn't doing his job very well. He wasn't healing. He was more kind of being a lookout and not healing. But why? What is wrong with just saying, "Hey mate, could you come and help us? You're the medic. We need some medical assistance." He didn't do that. He was just absolutely hammering it into him, shouting at him and abusing him and calling him names just because he wasn't. It was like if he was in the real army. You know, that's kind of what would happen in real army. Well, we aren't in the real army. It's a fucking video game, alright? I said to the squad leader, I says, mate, I says, try talking in a civil way and people might listen to what you're saying. About 2 minutes later, he started again on the medic. And so the medic shot him. And, I mean, team killing ruins games. And I'm going to come on to team killing in a second. But it has to be said that that squad leader asked to be shot. Because he was being a prick and ruining everybody's game. You know, we don't want somebody. The last thing you want after a hard day's work and graft is to come in, sit on a video game and have some little obnoxious prick shouting at you thinking he's some kind of elitist. You know, you just don't want that. They're going to get shot. And on to team killing. Team killing is a big problem in this game. There is no kick function, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because if you had a kick function, you're going to get all the elitists initiating votes to kick people who are not very good or who are just learning. I've seen it happen in many a game, and it'll happen like crazy in this, because this game unfortunately brings out the worst in people, because I feel as if people have something to prove. I've been deliberately, for the sake of this review, I've been jumping from squad to squad to squad to squad to kind of get a good cross section of what's going on, and most of the squad leaders are arrogant pricks. That has to be said. And back to team killing. Last night, for example, I wanted to play for an hour or so, and the entire time that I was in, it was just a team killing frenzy. It was horrific. The forward operation base that I was spawning at with my squad was being targeted by two people for some nice good old team killing. A guy called Stuart was just mowing down everybody as soon as they spawned. And so we had to have a guy covering that spawn while the others spawned, and if Stuart came into the room we had to kill him, which give us a longer respawn time, because we were getting penalised for team killing even though we were actually trying to defend ourselves. It was just awful. One guy just left.
Wow, I'm fucking done. What the fuck is that there? I'm done, dude. I'm fucking done.
It ruined the entire game, and something needs doing about it, because I've seen this happen on other servers as well. It's not rife, but when it happens, and it's another sad state of modern gaming. Another thing as well, I've seen squad leaders say, you can't come into my squad unless you have a microphone. What about people who can't speak? What about disabled people? You know, what about people who are really shy and are scared to talk? They might have a funny voice and they don't want to talk. Are we going to exempt all them people from having fun? It's bullshit. You know, whatever happened to having fun? Isn't that what gaming's supposed to be about? Why can't there just be acceptance? You know, but I think in this game, this is one of the only games where you really do need an account. I think they should bring in an account system, because, alright, there was a guy called Stuart killing everybody. How many people on Steam are called Stuart? There must be bloody hundreds of them. So, you know, you can't really do much about it. But if you had an account, if you had to register an account and your name was set in stone, they would know who you are. And, you know, people like me who have video footage of team kills could just send them into the developers. Team killing ruins games. It absolutely ruins them. And it ruined my experience in Squad last night. But Squad has a lot of other flaws as well as that. It's hard to see the enemy. Most of the time when I died to team killing that wasn't on purpose. It was accidental, because you don't know where the fire's coming from. You just don't know who's who half the time. Your team have their name tag above the head. It's green if they're in your squad, it's blue if they're in another squad, but they're still all friendlies. Unfortunately, it doesn't pop up above their heads all the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 seconds before the
the little name tag pops up. Now in that time, you're shot, you're dead, because if that's an enemy, he's done you. And I find the whole game very confusing in the sense of IDing people. We were in the process of building a forward operations base, and we all got grenaded. Everybody died. I think it took out 4 of us, 1 grenade, and it was a friendly grenade. It happens all the time.
I think that was friendly fire that killed me a grenade.
When accidental team killing is happening on this scale, you've got to kind of say, hang on a minute, there's something seriously wrong with the design of this game. And there is. You can't tell who the hell is who, because the maps are so big, people are just dots. And you can put your map on, and that will show up where everybody is, but it doesn't stay on your screen. You need a mini-map, and then the purists is going to say, oh, we don't have a mini-map because that's going to ruin immersion, it's not realistic, it's UI clutter. Yeah, it is, but if it stops you getting grenaded and shot at every 5 fucking seconds, isn't that a good thing? Because, let's be honest, guys, we aren't soldiers and this isn't real. It's a video game. I'm all for realism in video games, but you have to be sensible about it, and you might have to just pull this back a bit and put a couple of arcadey things in there to make the game better and more playable and more enjoyable. That's just my 2 cents, but I got fed up of being shot by my own team. You know, everybody's trigger happy, everybody's on edge, everybody's trying to do their bit, and you know, you run round a corner. The amount of times I've run round a corner and been mown down by me. It happened on a stream I did on this. On my very first ever game, I was in a compound with my squad and I was watching the west entrance, and then someone said the behind us. I ran from the west side to the compound and my own man just mowed me down. Thought I was some kind of insurgent charging through, and it's because on first glance, that first glance of the other player, you don't know immediately whether they are friend or foe, and what happens is you just think, well, f*** it, I'm firing anyway, bam 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 bam, dead. And it's a problem, and 9 times out of 10 you come under fire and you don't know where it's coming from. I mean, last night I was sitting, me and this guy were pinned down on the hill. I said, do you know where it's coming from? He says, haven't a bloody clue.
No flipping clue, mate.
And that's the game. That is Squad. So it's a good game. Yes, it is a good game. I'm not going to say it's a bad game, because it just isn't. And it's a breath of fresh air. And it's going in the right directions. But there's a lot of problems with it at the minute. And if you buy into this now, expect to be running around a lot. Expect to be shot. You don't even know where the bullet came from. Expect to be team killed. Expect to be shouted at by abusive sergeants. But expect to have some amazing times. I mean, to balance this argument out, I joined a squad on an American server. Nothing against Europe. I am European, unfortunately, but some of the Europeans, especially on the continent, were really arrogant bastards. And honestly, they were just... I eventually just says, F it, I'm going to America, and I joined the American servers, and I'm sure they have all the same problems in America, but my very first server that I joined in America, this guy, he was really good. He was awesome, actually, as a squad leader, because he got the squad together at the beginning of the game, and he says, right, this is what I'm proposing. You know, keyword proposing, not telling you. He said, this is what I'm proposing, that we go to B3 on the map or whatever it was, and we provide cover for that or whatever. I can't remember exactly what his plan was, but he then asked for our feedback, and you have time to do it, and we just thought, hey, this looks like a really good idea. And we said, yeah, no problem, let's do it. And he says, right, let's go. And we were off. And then he then said, is there anybody new? Anybody who needs to know anything about the game, while we were yomping across? And he was just really, really good. And if anybody made a mistake, he didn't shout at them as if he was some kind of superior guy. He was a proper gamer. And we need more squad leaders like that. On the subject of the devs, they do seem to be doing a really good job of implementing things. However, they have done a really terrible job of pricing this game. I always have a price in mind when I'm doing a review. And I had a price in mind for this before. I was actually given this copy from the developer, so I didn't know how much it was when I started playing it, because I got it a week before it was released anyway, and I kind of had a price in my head. And then when I saw that it was $29.99, you could have knocked me over with a fucking feather, guys. It is way overpriced for what you get. You've got to remember, this is an unoptimized early access game with only a fraction of the features that's promised in the full game. I mean, there's no vehicles.
which makes it a big running simulator at the minute because the maps are massive, which is a good thing that the maps are massive, by the way, but they're massive because they're designed for vehicles. You've got this game that at the moment doesn't play brilliantly. I'm having more bad times than good times in it. It could be just bad luck being in the wrong squads, but I'm just telling you the truth. I can only review a game based on my experiences in it. You know, what other people are saying is irrelevant to me. It's what I see when I'm in the game. So you've got a lot of flaws in it, and I think asking $29.99 is just a bridge too far, to be honest with you. I mean, wasn't early access all about getting the developers some money early days so that they can finish their project? And what they would do, they would release the game in a bug-ridden early access mess, but they would cut the price right down to say half or a third of the actual cost of the final product of the game. And that was a goodwill gesture because people were getting a bug-ridden, unoptimized game, and they would provide feedback to the developers which would help them to develop. So we had been their beta testers, alpha testers, and bug feedback reporters and suggestion box people. And for doing all that, we get the game at a really cut down price, and then when it's finished, we get the full version. That was the early access. So what's changed now that early access is all of a sudden, hey, there's your bug-ridden, unoptimized, bare bones game. Give us the full fucking price right now. I don't think so. That's not early access, unless of course I'm mistaken and this game's going to be £60 when it comes out and it's only half price now. I don't know. I mean, I hope the hell not, because it's not going to be worth £60, I can tell you that now. But it's not worth £30 now, and unfortunately that means it's going to get a thumb down because my channel is about, is it worth a buy? It is not worth anywhere near £30 in its current state. It needs a lot more work doing to it. I've had some amazing experiences in it, and I've had some horrendous experiences in it. So that's Squad. If you are into total realism, if you loved Operation Flashpoint, and I did, it was an amazing game. If you like that kind of thing and you want to get well away from Call of Duty, it's a big pull out for what you're going to get financially, but it is a step in the right direction. And I have a feeling, guys, about this game that maybe with a lot of changes to the way team killing and get the vehicles going, I have a feeling that, you know, next year when this game's finished, if it is finished next year, it could be an amazing experience. But the jury is still out. So there you go, guys. That's Squad. I'm gonna have to thumb it down because it's not worth £30 at the minute.